So the point of this video is just to show you the land that I'm living on. Really grateful to have this opportunity to live out here, and really my intention of starting this weekly leaflet, sharing different plant of the day videos, sharing about animals out here is because I find it really exciting and close to my heart. I just want to share that a bit. So with that, I'm just gonna show you a little bit around the land that we're at, show you what's going on, and share a plant of the day, and just kind of set that container of what this could look like going forward in regards to where the interests are, where they lie with you, and as me being a total amateur explorer in what this journey is and connecting with the land for myself, and just sharing a little bit about that. So two things we got many things going on here, but one of them is there are chickens living on this land. So let's see. Hello. Okay, so I'm filming this by myself right now, working on hiring a camera person, but got it balling on a budget right now, so bear with me. But if you could see there, you could see a chick with the mother hen. So she just hatched 3 chicks, and they're growing so fast, but it's really cool. This is my first time really taking care of chickens, being in a relationship with them. So here's a few more. So as you can see, there's probably about 10, 12 chickens. They have so much space out here. They're super happy taking care of them. I mean, yeah, total free range, eating organic berries, some of our food scraps, and then we do supplement some organic feed for them, but we don't eat them, but we do collect the eggs. And one thing I learned recently was sometimes chickens, they'll just lay eggs, but they don't really feel like being a mother. So they won't sit on them and incubate them and roost. So we just collect the eggs that they choose not to sit on, and they're absolutely delicious. So what I enjoy is getting closer to building relationships with where my food comes from. It's really one of the benefits of being out here. So as you can see here, all those are black cap, like the little wild blackberries that we see in many areas of places we live. So I'm in upstate New York, right on Lake Ontario, what historically had been Haudenosaunee land of the Native Americans, and that's one thing that I'm making an intention of learning more about, is who has traditionally and historically been indigenous to this land, been native to this land. And that's one thing I invite you to research if you're not familiar with, who had historically and indigenous lived on the land that we now occupy, how that came to be, and also exploring ways that we can create more justice for that going forward, bringing if even though we're on this land, how we can make it a more inclusive space. And that's just something I'm totally in the process of doing myself, and in a very imperfect way, but always trying to keep an open mind and learn more about that. So this is one of the gardens here. Got a lot of different plant varieties, potatoes, dill, basil, tomatoes, kale, beets, eggplant, broccoli, cucumbers, beans, peas, so many different varieties, and a lot of diversity. So in this center, big circle of pumpkins, squash, corn, and got blueberries out here, grapes, and so much diversity, as you can see. Here is a tent that somebody lives in, really big canvas tent. I also happen to live in a tent out here, which is a really cool experience because much more in relationship with the weather as it comes. We're not so insulated all the time from the outdoors, even though I do have a queen bed in there. So, but yeah, this is my little place here, and maybe I'll give you a tour around that sometime. But it's so nice. I can hear the crickets at night, and a lot of times those little critters, they actually think that they own the tent as well. And that's a lesson that I'm learning is nature doesn't claim ownership in a way that us humans really tend to like to do. So nature, the animals, the plants, they're all the best teachers in my opinion. So about 19 acres out here, a lot of it is wooded, and a lot of it is wild grasses, as you can see. A lot of this we don't mow here, and we let the grasses grow long. They provide habitat for birds, insects, pollinators, flowers come up. There's so much more diversity out here than say in a suburban neighborhood that is using pesticides on their lawn. And you know, I've personally know somebody that sent me a picture recently of oyster mushrooms growing on a log in their yard, but it turns out that another family member had previously sprayed pesticides and, you know, tried to get rid of all the bugs and weeds, and so they weren't able to actually enjoy those oyster mushrooms because you know, we don't want to eat those chemicals. So I personally think this looks better, and you know, that's something that is a real issue that we're dealing with in 2020. I'm also a beekeeper, and the more that we become in relationship with the plants and just learn about them and realize that there's so much food that we can eat out there, the more that actually the less it makes sense to spray pesticides, grow only one crop, that sort of stuff. Diversity is better in nature as well as in our cultures, right? So I'm going very surface level here just to kind of give a picture of what's around, and I invite all of you to share what interests you, because then I can do specific little videos, things about it. I'm learning so much. There's way more out here that I don't know about than that I do know about. So this is just me sharing. But anyway, last thing we'll do, or I will do on this video, is share a plant of the day, because that's fun. And so the plant of the day that I want to share today is a plant that's called purslane. And you might have heard of it. It's actually it grows wild, but people do grow it cultivated as well. I hear the wild varieties are a little bit better. This can be found in an urban setting and say sidewalk cracks along a street, as well as in a garden just growing there. So let's see here. This is the purslane. As you can see, it grows very flat and low to the ground from a center root, and the leaves are kind of spatula shaped. They almost look like a succulent. The stem is reddish brown and thick. If you pluck the stem, there's no white liquid that comes from it, just clear, and which is a good thing to keep in mind because there are lookalikes if choosing to eat this, because it is edible. Some of the lookalikes, if you pluck the stem, there's like a white liquid. I think it's called spurge, that looks sort of similar. So just keep a heads up. But this is one of the most nutritious superfood greens that exist. Most of us, including myself, until recently, are not aware of it, aware that we can eat it. It has a couple other names too that are not coming to mind right now, but as you can see, the leaves just looks like a very succulent type. You can eat the leaves and just pluck them individually, but you can also eat the whole stem too. So like, put this in salads. Really tasty. Once they start to go to seed, they become a little bit more bitter. So again, before they go to seed, and this stuff it's a perennial, so it'll, well, actually, I guess it's, yeah, I actually don't know if it's perennial, if it just reseeds every year and grows new. That's something that I would have to look up. But it really high in omega-3 fatty acids and really delicious. People, I've heard, they pickle the stems too. So this plant, it's growing all around. But as always, if you're not 100% sure about the identification of this plant, don't eat it. Make sure you're with somebody or yourself that can 100% identify it. But when you can, it's really nutritious. But if it is in an urban setting too, by a sidewalk or a street that you're not familiar with, or it's not yours, I wouldn't recommend eating that either, because I'm not really sure what type of chemicals or stuff has been on it. So that's purslane, plant of the day there. And we put it in salads all the time. It can be in soups. It's really good raw. So yeah, this is just a little bit about the land, and going forward, I'll be a little bit more specific on the videos to share with you. But if anything is interesting here, feel free to shoot me a message, and I can do something specifically. We got blueberries, fruit trees, wild mustard, amaranth, mullein, all these different varieties of plants. So thank you for watching this. Thanks for being interested, and I look forward to continuing building these relationships with you out there, while we all build our relationships with the natural world too. So have a wonderful rest of the week, and we'll see you next time.